Yes, Carlton taking the points, if you like. No premiership points, but they've taken whatever is on offer here at Optus Oval today with that narrow victory, the 2-point victory over Collingwood. Dakes, you've been doing it tough. Here's the scorecard. We've been showing Collingwood getting beaten in grand finals all evening by Carlton, and this is another one that slipped away.
Yeah, it's another one that slipped away, but I think, if anything, the better winners or the greatest winners tonight were definitely both teams. I think you couldn't really separate them. They gave their all. I just felt Carlton were terrific, I think, at running the ball, especially after quarter time, and I think their kicking was a lot more direct and certainly got yardage, whereas Collingwood was very short for a long time. Handballs, well, Carlton seemed to use the ball better, especially in the clinches or the close quarters. They won out of the middle of the ground, although Collingwood got back late in the game because of it, but Carlton were clear winners there. Hit-outs again, Matty Allen. Young Tony Burke sort of did his bit in the middle there as well. So I think overall a great game of football, and I think chiefly, I think both teams, the conditioning of their players, I think, was a thing that they'd be pleased about.
According to the stats, Carlton should have won easily. In fact, they won by 2 points. But a win is a win, and the Carlton players down there enjoying it, as is our roving reporter, Michael Roberts.
Thanks very much. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed your Valentine's Day. The rose on my lapel has finally died because of the heat. But didn't the Carlton and Collingwood players put on a fantastic exhibition? Give them a big round of applause. In front of this magnificent legend stand that surrounds us, the rivalry continued on this day. There's absolutely no love lost here. And for the first of 3 Optus Challenge Cups, I'd like David Foster, the sponsorship manager of Optus, to make the presentation to the Carlton Football Club.
Thanks very much. First of all, to both teams, great hit out. Congratulations to both sides. It gives me great pleasure to present the cup to Michael Sexton.
Michael Sexton for the Carlton Football Club. Well, Mike, it's an understatement. Pretty hot out there.
Yeah, we're certainly glad we weren't playing at 3:30 like the seconds were, but it did cool down a bit, especially the last half, but early on it was very hot.
What about you hit the front early and then Collingwood pumped themselves back, they never gave up, and then you snuck home in the last dying moments?
I guess it was a terrific game. The supporters sure got their money's worth. But it was a great effort by our guys to come back in the last few minutes.
And it's always tremendous rivalry between Carlton and Collingwood.
Yeah, it always is, even this early in the season.
OK, go back and celebrate with the boys. Well done, Michael Sexton. And we'll hear from the Collingwood captain. Well, we won't, actually. We'll have Nathan Buckley. Please welcome Nathan Buckley up to the presentation area. I saw Gav Brown down there. He actually didn't play today, Nath, but, well, you performed all right, a couple of goals, and a few newcomers, Richard Osborne and a few others, shone out early.
Yeah, I suppose the aim of the practice matches is to have a look at a lot of blokes, especially before the draft coming up this week. We're very happy to get close, and I suppose practice matches like this are essential to kick off to a good season.
Give to Carlton's credit, they did hit back because you did hit the front and in that last dying moments.
Yeah, we traditionally we fight pretty hard, and we did again today, but it wasn't good enough, and I don't know, maybe wait till the real season.
The real season's just about to kick off. Well played, Nathan, and well done to the Collingwood Football Club. But Carlton are the winners today of this first Challenge Cup.
Yes, well done, Carlton, and thanks very much to Michael Roberts and Nicole Stevenson for their work around the boundary. It's been pretty warm down there. They have felt the heat just like the players have, but what a game it's turned out to be. And one man who's pretty happy with the way everything's panned out, I'm sure, is the Chief Executive of the Carlton Footy Club, and I welcome Stephen Gough. How are you, Stephen?
Good, thanks, Mike.
Another bit of silverware. Can you find some room for it?
Yeah. Oh, look, I think it just shows football is always strong in Melbourne, and you put Carlton and Collingwood together anywhere at any time, and I think the results speak for themselves. But it was great to win.
A bit early in the season. You've still got the Ansett Cup to win, and you've got the Premiership to win, but I guess never too early for footy.
Never, and I think that as the people showed, Carlton Collingwood's special. With Dakes here today, I think it's 1982 since we last played, and he played in that. at this ground, and it's terrific. And I think the concept is good. The people want it about this time of year, and what better event than the two greatest teams in the competition.
The Legend Stand, the unveiling of the Legend Stand for the public today, has it been received well?
I think it was a good trial run today. Obviously, it was too hot for most of us, wherever we were, but I think the stand's going to be a great asset, and the patrons will really enjoy it.
And the players, what did they think about when you told them, hey, I got some good news for you fellas, February 14 you're going to be playing against Collingwood in front of a big crowd, televised game?
Oh, I think it's a highlight. At this time of the year, players can often end up playing all over the country on a variety of surfaces and grounds in front of very small audiences. This is playing against the best at the best, and so they really look forward to it.
One player that impressed us a lot throughout the game, in fact, he was there all the time, Lance Whitnell, 17-year-old, and he really looks a star of the future.
Well, I think his career to date in the under-18s and for Victoria in the Teal Cup says that he should be a very, very handy acquisition to us, and today's a great chance to blood him against the arch rivals.
Yes, he really does look like a star. You happy with your playing list? You've got the draft, of course, on Monday, Tuesday, February 18?
Well, I think that we've made most of the decisions. Obviously, we waited a long time on Greg and Justin, and Greg's come through okay and thinks he'll be right, so we're happy to go with him. And Justin, well, it's up to him. I mean, Matty Allen did a terrific job today. Matty desperately wants the spot. Justin wants it. So it should all go well for Carlton, I think. Let's have a look at some of the action from the second half. And, of course, at half-time, Carlton looking pretty good. But then in the third quarter, things started to fall away a little bit. I guess it was at that point, though, Stephen Kernahan wasn't there. Silvani went off. A lot of changes, mate. Yeah, I think both sides made a lot of changes, but we've respected Tony Shaw a fair bit. Last year he pulled some terrific moves in his coaching, and they were very hard to toss the Pies. So I think that the style he's bringing to the game will make the Maggies very capable of kicking scores quickly, and obviously that's what they're trying to do, move the ball quickly and score. Now, if we didn't know Carlton and Collingwood rivalries better, people would suggest that this finish was scripted. I mean, well, it was great, wasn't it? If you were here, the atmosphere was fantastic. You couldn't help but think this must have been a game for 4 points. The crowd were right into it, the players were in it. We had a terrific spectacle. We mentioned Lance Whitnell. What are some of the other players, the youngsters coming through? Well, I think that they blooded quite a few today and put a lot of responsibility on others who are only young. Young Beaumont hasn't played much footy. I think he's got a lot to offer. No doubt about young Whitehead, who's played in a premiership but only a boy. We want to see him go on with it. Young Locke from Bendigo, Hamill. These are the sort of players that I think the club's looking for to go on and take another step, because Kernahan and the others won't be around for a long, long time. So they've got to step up and make it happen. Mick McWan, we didn't see him today. A lot of supporters of both clubs, I'm sure, would have been looking forward to that. Well, I think he got a rousing reception, depending on who you're listening to at half-time, as he came onto the ground to participate in the entertainment. But I think Mick's going to add a lot to us. We've obviously got to get him right to play at his best, and at his best, I think there's not many better players in the competition, so he'll be a real asset. What about, just briefly, and it's probably a hard subject to cover briefly, but this oval, the Legend Stand we touched on, but all the talk about the Dockland Stadium, you're confident there's going to be a place for this revamped ground for a long time? I think so. I think the AFL have made it clear they see this ground at 36,000 is about its capacity. The Dockland's 50-odd, and the MCG takes the real cream, and each of the venues got something specific to offer. So, yes, I do. I think it's a room for all three. What about membership? How's that looking at the moment? Membership is very good. We're on target with last year's figures, and we're aiming to go higher again like most clubs, and today I hope's a great boost to that, and we're looking forward to record figures again this year. And corporate support, I mean, I guess that's a silly question really. It's always been strong, hasn't it? Yes, I think, look, the support the club's had over the years has been great. People love it here, our corporates love it here, and there seems to be others who want to come here. Footscray are playing here, or the Western Bulldogs are playing here this year, and that's added another dimension too. So it'll add to the spectacle of Optus Oval as one of the great venues. So in closing, the Optus Challenge Cup, I mean, we've loved being here. I'm sure all the footy fans on Sports AFL would have enjoyed it as well, but you're happy you've made the right decision? I think so. I think both clubs are delighted. It's a great time to have a hit out, and away we go with it, and it'll go on for a few more years. And the Blues this year, what sort of odds can you offer for a premiership? I don't give odds, but I'd love to be there in the last week in September. OK, Stephen Gough, thanks very much for joining us, and well done, and find a place for the Optus Challenge Cup, at least for this year and maybe next year as well. We will, Mike.
the Carlton Chief Executive, Stephen Gough. And Rob Gaylard, thanks very much to you, and also Peter Dacos. And, of course, as I mentioned, Nicole Stevenson and Michael Roberts, all part of the commentary team here at Optus Oval today. It's been great bringing you this game. It is the middle of February, but it's never too early for football. I hope you enjoyed it all, and we look forward to bringing you much more footy right throughout the year here on Sports AFL.